world's most terrifying dictator. How does he rule his country? What does daily life look like in North Korea? You might feel suffocated while imagining it. The government tries its best to control every aspect of its citizens' lives. Who'll live where, who'll do what they will study. Everything is decided by the government. Your clothes, your hairstyle, even the movies you watch. The government dictates it all. Even your phone's operating system might take random screenshots and send them to the government to monitor what you watch on your phone. For a crime committed by any person, even their grandchildren might be punished under the law of guilt by association. Families distrust each other. Siblings, parents, and children live in constant fear of speaking openly. Despite this, over the last few years, Kim Jong-un's hold has been weakening, with a silent revolution underway led by North Korean women. In 1981, a pregnant woman was imprisoned in North Korea's political prison Camp 14. She gave birth to a boy named Shin Dong-hyuk, who grew up in jail. The North Korean government believes in guilt by association, where political crimes lead to the imprisonment of the offender's entire family spanning 3 generations. Shin grew up in terrible conditions, eating little more than corn porridge, grass, and rats to survive. The prison camp, holding around 200 prisoners, had strict rules. Attempting to escape resulted in being shot, and failing to report an escape plan meant execution. At age 13, Shin overheard his mother and brother planning an escape and reported it to the guards, hoping for extra food. 7 months later, he was forced to witness their execution. For 6 months, he endured torture. In 2005, at the age of 23, Shin escaped the prison camp, fled to China, and eventually reached South Korea. His story became known worldwide, leading him to advocate for human rights. His story inspired the book Escape from Camp 14, which revealed the inhumane conditions in North Korea's prison camps. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, has a population of about 25 million. Geographically, it borders South Korea and China. At night, satellite imagery starkly reveals the darkness of North Korea amidst the illuminated neighboring countries. This is emblematic of a nation where people can't read or watch TV at night and go to sleep early due to the lack of electricity. Between 1995 and 1998, North Korea experienced a devastating famine, leading to widespread hunger and the deaths of an estimated 0 to 2 million people. However, North Korea wasn't always this way. Until the 1980s, its economy was stronger than South Korea's, with free healthcare, education, and housing. The collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, which had supported North Korea with cheap oil and food, plunged the country into economic despair. Despite offers of international aid in exchange for abandoning its nuclear weapons program, North Korea refused, leading to isolation from the rest of the world. The government focused on maintaining the appearance of stability in the capital, Pyongyang, while rural areas suffered immensely. North Korea's leadership, rooted in totalitarian control, began with Kim Il-sung after WRR, when the Korean peninsula was divided into North and South. The Kim family has maintained its grip on power, with Kim Jong-un as the current leader. The government controls every aspect of life, from where people live to the hairstyles they are allowed to choose. Education, although free, is marred by corruption, with teachers often ignoring students unless bribed. After schooling, men must serve in the military for up to 10 years. Elections are held every 5 years but are a facade, with only ruling party candidates allowed. Voting against them is considered treason, and the secret police ensure compliance. In matters of personal style, only a limited number of hairstyles are approved, and clothing influenced by Western culture is banned. To enforce these rules, the government employs fashion police who secretly monitor and penalize offenders. Domestic and international travel is heavily restricted, with permits required for movement within the country. Leaving the country without permission is considered a betrayal, often leading to severe punishment for the individual and their family. Despite these risks, many still attempt to flee, primarily to China, although deportations back to North Korea remain common. In terms of entertainment, foreign media is entirely banned, and only government-approved channels and radio broadcasts are allowed. This control extends to every facet of life, making North Korea one of the most repressive regimes in the world. In North Korea, The government uses propaganda to control the population. Morning broadcasts begin with the national anthem and tributes to former rulers. Programming includes cartoons, news praising the regime, and constant glorification of Kim Jong-un, portraying him as a godlike figure. The regime suppresses foreign media. Watching or distributing foreign content, especially South Korean dramas, is a severe crime punishable by harsh penalties, including public executions and long prison sentences. Despite the risks, smuggled USB sticks and DVDs with foreign content circulate in black markets. To curb this, authorities cut electricity randomly and inspect homes. North Koreans secretly watch such content in darkened rooms at barely audible volumes. Internet access is extremely restricted, requiring government permission, and activities are heavily monitored. An internal intranet exists, controlled by the state with only a few approved websites. Smartphones are censored, and random screenshots are sent to the government to monitor usage. Religion is banned, with Christians particularly targeted, and practicing or distributing religious materials can lead to death or imprisonment. The Kim family is deified, with pictures and statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il omnipresent. Citizens must protect these images, and failure to do so can lead to prosecution. North Korea's economic condition is dire, with 69% of the population unable to afford basic necessities. Men are assigned low-paying government jobs, while women support households by working in local markets known as jangmadang. These markets serve as hubs for food, goods, and information about the outside world, fostering disillusionment among citizens. Society is divided into three songbun classes: core, loyalists; wavering, suspected; and hostile, enemies of the state. Resources are allocated based on this hierarchy, with the core class receiving privileges, while the hostile class faces severe discrimination and forced labor. The secret police enforce control through fear and surveillance, with neighbors and even family members encouraged to report one another. Political prison camps, housing up to 200 people, are sites of extreme suffering, forced labor, and starvation. Entire families are punished for the political crimes of one member under the concept of guilt by association. Conditions in these camps are inhumane, with prisoners often eating grass, rats, and snakes to survive. Guards are instructed to kill all prisoners in case of war to erase evidence of the camps. The regime survives through a combination of fear, class division, and relentless propaganda. Stories of Kim Jong-un's supposed godlike feats, such as riding a horse at 5 or performing extraordinary tasks, are drilled into citizens from childhood. News serves as a propaganda tool, presenting North Korea's leader as infallible while portraying other nations negatively. Once white power cannot be extracted from North Korea, it seems to be more easily torn apart. These tactics ensure that North Koreans live in fear, unable to trust even their own families, while the regime maintains its iron grip on the nation. But no matter how powerful and scary a dictatorship is, it won't last forever. And even in North Korea, there are clear indicators that Kim Jong-un's grip is getting weaker. The biggest indicator is the rise of jangmadang, the small black markets run by women. Ju Yang, who left North Korea in 2010, said that in the beginning, the government wanted to put a stop to these markets. Back then, the government used to confiscate everything, but with time, these markets grew so rapidly and became an integral part of people's lives that almost every North Korean started trading in it.